right, we thank you very much for being there. Now, recent road crashes has become a source of concern amongst our road users and stakeholders on safety.
Very true. And the fatal motor accident conveying 32 athletes and officials of Kano State contingent to Kano from the just concluded National Sports Festival in Ogun State, which claimed 22 lives, as the latest among other road crashes.
Right, and that's why we have joining us here in the studio, Segun Ogungbemide, who is the core public education officer at the Federal Road Safety Corps. Welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, right.
All right. Not a very good report, about the athletes, but, for the athletes, they were traveling. But even right here in Abuja and in different states, we see that even for those who are not traveling, who are moving from just their offices to their homes, like what usually occurs at the Karo axis of in Abuja here. These incidents are they increasing? What would you want to put the problem? Would you say our drivers are becoming more reckless, or is it that our roads are becoming more deplorable?
Well, thank you very much. Let me start by still speaking out the voice of the Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed, who commiserated the government of Kano State for the incident that claimed the life of these young fellows. It's quite devastating because if you look at what we have been doing the last 37 years, you agree with me that having you as our major partners in educating members of the public, that we have never failed in that capacity. And this is also in line with the policy trust of the Corps Marshal of rejigging our operational activities, which started right from the time he took over the mantle of leadership last year. And when we were trying to count our gains at the end of last year, we realized that we were able to reduce road traffic crashes by 10%, which is huge compared to what the mandate the United Nations gave to us, that we stayed the target of 5%, but we ended up reducing it by 10%. And it's a gain for us. But it's quite unfortunate that at times when the crashes occur, it becomes fatal, which is beyond what we can immediately control. And that's why we believe that we cannot stop enforcement, we cannot stop talking to members of the public. If you look at the traffic volume in Nigeria today, you know that even worldwide, it's not possible to stop road traffic crashes from happening. But what we can do is to speak with the stakeholders, partner with them on how best we can reduce road traffic crashes. And that's the essence of having this safety approach, where we say crashes do occur, but let us reduce the rate of fatality. But the one that happened a few days ago actually was embarrassing, because when you look at the trend, we've talked so much about reducing movement at night, because we know that when you travel at night, the casualty level is always high when there are crashes because of lack of visibility, immediate help. And you cannot really be sure of the condition of the road at night compared to when you are traveling during the day. So we had the information that that vehicle must have traveled through the night. Because when you look at the vehicle coming all the way from Ogun State, and the accident occurred around 12 midday. So definitely some trips must have been made through the night. So who knows? The guy could have been under major fatigue. And it's just like a dream when the breeze blows and you doze off. Anything
and that doesn't change the trend. The trend is that human errors are blamed for road crashes. And so what trend, what behavioral error, what behavioral issue have you found over time and that you intend to address in your next public education campaigns?
It's all about this, self-confidence. When it comes to driving, having the belief that no evil can happen to you. You are a master of your game. You know what you are doing. And if you look at our theme for last year, we lay emphasis in our advocacy. We lay emphasis on the role of passengers. And I want to believe that's what really played out in reducing the rate of road traffic crashes last year. Because we come to realize that despite all the words we have given to the drivers, the moment they go behind the steering, they tend to become the lord of their own, negating all the effort the Federal Safety Corps and other agencies have put in place. So we now come, it's not just about leaving this to them. Let it be a kind of shared responsibility. Let the passengers themselves take their destinies in their hands. FRSC wouldn't have been on that road at that late hour, but the person with the driver are the passengers. If the passenger is becoming reckless,
The
driver.
if the driver is becoming reckless, you have the responsibility to caution him. Well, it's quite unfortunate.
That's if the passengers are awake.
That's what I wanted
because
to.
once it's commercial or mass transit,
it has become our
most people are
tradition. The
sleeping.
moment we enter the commercial vehicle, under 5 minutes, all of us are snoring. And I've said it severally. It could look funny, but it's not. That most of these crashes that occur, the passengers don't even feel the pains of death, because some of them are even asleep when it happened. And before you know it, they are all gone.
But what about enforcement? Beyond education now, what about enforcement, to enforce against overloading,
Yes.
against reckless driving and all other vices on the roads?
Will it not amaze you? Somebody called me, a journalist called, to say it's like we are not doing anything about overloading. I tried to get the data across to him. Because if you notice our social handles, there's no day I don't send the number of overloaded vehicles that are arrested. And the structure, the formation of such overloaded vehicles, it will amaze you that can this happen in a country like this. When I sent him the data, he was amazed that last year alone, we arrested 5,600 overloaded vehicles on Nigerian roads. Is that not huge? And this year, the number is still counting.
Yet
So
that did not scratch the surface.
The more we try, transportation is quite dynamic. And one thing I've realized about the psychology of Nigerian drivers, if I escape arrest today, my luck. If I'm arrested, my luck. So I can always make do with the period I escape to meet up with what was lost, not minding the effect of all these devastating issues on Nigerian road users.
All right. A lot of people say that the FRSA is doing quite a lot,
Yeah.
but some say you're not doing enough.
Okay.
Maybe in the area of arresting, or if you like, stopping vehicles that are not roadworthy from being on the road. A lot of transporters have placed it on the fact that, well, vehicles are expensive, so people can no longer change their vehicles as much as they used to in the past. So you see vehicles that that shouldn't be on the road. Ordinarily, you know that this vehicle can't take you anywhere, but they're still on our roads. What's the FRSA doing about that?
Enforcement. That's the most difficult aspect of every line of authority when it comes to issue of enforcement. You have to be strategic. We have seen a situation where we try to effect arrest and the entire passengers will go against our men. I'm sure you've seen a series of assaults involving FRSA and road users. It's quite emotional at times that you ask yourself, can this happen outside this country? If there's any language the Corps Marshal has used regularly, is that you cannot leave the role of road safety alone to Federal Road Safety Corps. It's beyond that. If it's just about going on the road, arresting people, it will look so simple. But when you look at the role of the passengers that are aggressive, the role of the drivers, do you know the number of our men that have been knocked down in the line of desperation to get a vehicle that we feel is not fit for the road arrested? So at times when you see some vehicles that you feel, oh, this vehicle is not fit for the road, what is it doing on the highway? You wouldn't know what those men pass through. And you look at such vehicle, if you are desperate, assuming it leads to another death, would the motoring public spare our men? So as at November last year, we had 526,000 arrests on Nigerian roads nationwide. Is it a child's play? Do you know what it means to stop a vehicle and get the vehicle arrested easily without opposition from members of the public? The same members of the public that will oppose you that you have not done enough are the same members of the public that will attack you. That don't you know what the country is talking about?
Well, why don't you talk about technology then? Because if it becomes risky for your men to physically try to stop moving vehicles,
Yes.
some have to jump on the vehicles, some have to get in uninvited, why don't you try technology?
We talk a lot about technology. Is there anywhere in the whole world today that you don't need physical presence for enforcement?
Not so much.
Not so much.
How do you apprehend people elsewhere?
Okay, let me give you this scenario. How do you use technology to arrest a vehicle that is extremely overloaded, that has the tendency to lead to another crashes that will involve lives? Can I use technology to stop
the
a vehicle?
But you can
the
use
essence
technology,
of technology.
You can use technology to get the people to pay for their crimes, for their
That is-
offenses.
sure.
And that becomes a deterrent.
Okay, it's like this. At that moment, life has to be saved. Somebody's life has to be saved. It's like now, somebody is being kidnapped. You understand now? And it's in a vehicle. Rather than making effort to stop the vehicle because of the way he drove, you said I should allow it to go, they can easily use technology to stop him. There's no there's no problem about that. Do you know the extent to which we have been able to use technology to recover stolen vehicles in Nigeria today? We now talk about enforcement. Every day we have vehicles we declare wanted. We have flying tickets where these vehicles, after they have escaped our men, we always have a way of getting them back. All these things are all encompassing. It's not a straitjacket affair. It's not only one approach to tackling this problem. It's huge. I will not deny that. But FRSC has not failed in that responsibility.
Okay, you know, some people also think that it's in some parts of the country that the FRSC is very effective, but in some other parts, like you have said, the fear of arresting people because of what the passengers and the drivers could do to the FRSC official is maybe a reason why some FRSC officials are turning the other way when they see vehicles that maybe are overloaded. Those who carry human beings and animals,
Yes.
those who, just have people just hanging everywhere in the vehicles. And these vehicles on a daily basis continue to ply our roads. And sometimes when the FRSC officials are even on the road, they turn the other way. Is it that the FRSC is becoming afraid, to do its job?
Well, if you say FRSC is becoming afraid, it could be true and it could be the other way. You recall that the commercial recently started talking about the need for arms, for the men to be able to, get protected because of the series of assaults, and even some do lead to fatality. And the essence of this is we come to realize that 37 years ago we were in charge. Members of the public were, afraid of FRSC. But 37 years after, it's turning the other way around. Members of the public are getting more aggressive due to so many factors that are known to some of us. And for you to still maintain the same status quo, the way you were doing enforcement 37 years ago cannot really be the same today. So there's need for the men to be fortified, because there's always this rule that your personal safety first. If the men that are just 5 or 6 in a patrol team saw a truck carrying 56 passengers with cattle, will it not amount to suicide for them to think they can stop such vehicles?
I can't believe you're saying that.
No. Let's.
But you're backed by the law. But you're backed by the law.
Let's be sincere here. Let's be clear.
So do we take away the fact that FRSC officials are scared of doing their job?
Wait. We are being sincere with ourselves here. That was what prompted the Corps Marshal to direct for a task force where we have the military and the police, for you to know how sensitive it can be to assist in this enforcement. We cannot pretend to ourselves that these boys are, we are disturbed here by the level of fatality and crashes that occur. So I will still come here and pretend to you that it's easy enforcement. For us to involve all other agencies to say, come, let us do this thing for us to accomplish this. You should know it's a thing of concern to us. So I can't pretend to you that 6 people can face 100 men in a truck and get them arrested at night or even during the day. The incident that happened that claimed about 200 at Jigawa, were you not aware that policemen were there and FRSC to scare away those people that wanted to scoop fuel? Were you not aware that they were attacked before the scooping started, that eventually led to that incident. Because if you want to face one side, this thing has to be all-encompassing. I'm so concerned, and that's why I'm saying this. It's not just about being afraid. If you're afraid, will you be able to arrest close to 560,000? But when we have peculiar situations that need special attention, that's the one I'm talking about here. We've been getting task force support from other agencies. But at the same time, they have their own overwhelming situations.
So what does the FRSC need at the moment to do its job better?
At the moment, one, and that's what we have tried to engage in, involving all the traditional rulers. These people emanate from somewhere, involving the state governments. You know, when you get to the root of a problem, it's always the best way to solve it. There are people they listen to. That's why we've engaged in town hall meetings. It's not just about running after trucks and tankers on the highway. There are approaches you can use to solve a problem. They listen to the emirs. They listen to the traditional rulers. We speak to the unions. We know the source of all these problems, and that's why we are tackling it. The pockets we are running after on the highway are the ones that refuse to listen, and that's why it's easier for us to manage. But if we had allowed it to be all commerce affairs, then it would have been a different ballgame entirely.
What about the transport unions and other private sector players?
Virtually all of them are involved, and they have their own challenges.
But are there other initiatives you would like the government to put in place just to strengthen the ability of the FRSC to do its job on the road?
Yes, is outside the issue of fortifying the men by virtue of arms, at least to protect themselves. When you are going
But you know,
out,
many people have kicked against the arms.
eventually they got to realize where we're coming from. You agree with me that the entire thing has died down because reasoning has prevailed. Enforcement is not a child's play all over the world. It's like exposing men to go and get killed. You ask me to go and follow someone that I know could be having arms in his vehicle, that I know could have knives and what have you to attack the men. I can give you the data of the men of FRSC that have been killed, those that are still in the hospital. Don't they have families? Don't they have the right to protect themselves? So if you're engaging me to go and get myself into an enforcement, you should know the civil defense and co, where were they coming from? At the early stage, they were using stick to pursue smugglers and those that are stealing our fuel. And they realized the might of those people is bigger than stick. Reasoning prevailed. Government harmed them. And that's why they are performing better today. What we are saying, you talked about the issue of technology. When you know that these people you are going to meet are harmless, they cannot do anything to you, you can easily pick stick and beat them and ask them to leave the road. Has it not been happening? A commercial driver will stop, tell FRSC to leave the road because they want to pass. Must we call police and other agents to come and support us all the time? The boys have tried over the years to get this thing done, but things are gradually changing. People are becoming more aggressive. And this is the mandate given to FRSC. Whatever it takes to get it right, all of us must be involved. Lives are being lost on a daily basis. 21. Just like that. Something better will have been happening. If we say, don't move at night, and the men are able to operate at night, they will have been able to stop those vehicles from moving thousands of kilometers through the night. How would driver not be tired? So enforcement is not just talking
So when you have arms, you function at night?
Certainly. Are we not functioning at night? We operate 24 hours. Even now, this Salah period, our men are on ground 24 hours. Have you not been seeing us doing rescue at night? Do you know what those men pass through, walking through the night under danger to go and rescue people? At night, they are doing their rescue. People come around to attack them. Are we thinking about that?
All right, we have to end this conversation here.
It's becoming quite emotional for FRSC officials. I mean, it's a risky job to be in the FRSC.
We'll have another time to talk more about it. Shego Ogunbemide.
Thank you very much.
Core Public Education Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps. Thank you very much for your time and the insights.
I appreciate that.
All right, so that's our package this Tuesday. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ian Ray John. Live locked on the NTA.
And I'm Victor Azu. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.